Today we will introduce the Tiered Behavior Resource Guide. The resource guide was created by a diverse team from the Departments of Special Education, Intervention Services, Counseling and Student Services, Project Enlightenment, and the Office of Early Learning. On page 1, you can see an overview of the 3 tiers of instruction and intervention. The purpose of this document is to visualize a multi-tiered framework for behavior and to align resources within the district. When a school-based team, such as Intervention Team or PLT, is looking for support with one student's behavior, a group of students' behavior, or a classroom of behaviors, they can turn to this document as a one-stop shop for district resources and support. Each tier has a page of resources. We will explore Tier 1 core instructional practices first. Starting with the first column on the left, you will see a definition and details about Tier 1 core behavior. Underneath, you can see a checklist to determine if this is your starting point. You will answer the question, are 80% of students responding to Tier 1? If the answer is yes, you will complete the action steps listed. If the answer is no, you will complete the action steps listed and move to the next column, Instructional Practices. In the middle column, you can see the instructional best practices for Tier 1. As a PLT, discuss each practice and determine if each is in place. Look for the areas where you could increase fidelity of implementation and focus your strategies there. All of the instructional practices listed align with the PTR, Prevent, Teach, Reinforce, and ICE, Instruction, Curriculum, Environment, frameworks and represent items in the MTSS Explorer Core Plan. On the far right, you will find district-supported professional learning and curriculum and resources. Resources are hyperlinked when applicable. To find out more information, there is a spreadsheet at the end of the document. Items were chosen when they were evidence or research-based, available widely in the district, and have central services personnel to support questions or inquiries from schools. Finally, examples of behaviors that can be addressed through Tier 1 instructional practices are included. The Tier 2 Strategic Interventions page follows a similar layout. In the first column, you can find information about strategic or Tier 2 interventions and where to start with action steps. The examples of behaviors that can be addressed through Tier 2 strategic interventions can be seen in this column as well. In the middle column, you will find the Tier 2 strategic interventions aligned with PTR and found within MTSS Explorer Tier 2 planning. As a PLT or intervention team, determine which strategic interventions are already in place and which may need to be added or increased. In the far right column, you will find district-supported professional learning and curriculum and resources. It's important to note that an increase in frequency and duration of core/Tier 1 curriculum and resources may be appropriate. All resources are listed in the first appropriate tier. For example, zones of regulation can be used in Core, Tier 2, and Tier 3, but is listed only in the Core resource list. Finally, we have the Tier 3 Intensive Interventions page. You can see the same layout is used here. This tier is for the top 1 to 5% of your behavior needs. Pay close attention to the action steps because documentation and progress monitoring is important at this level. In the resources spreadsheet on page 5, we have included the following information. Evidence or research-based, if it is an intervention selection within MTSS Explorer, if available system-wide, and in which level the resource can be used. Evidence-based indicates that evidence of this program or resource demonstrates a significant effect on improving student outcomes. Research-based indicates that the resource demonstrates a rationale based on high-quality research findings or positive evaluations and is likely to improve student outcomes. District-level personnel assignments can be found in the Behavior Collaborative Support document linked in the title row. If you have questions about this document, contact Ivy Marks, Secondary, or Michelle Bethel, Elementary. If you have district-supported resources to add, please contact Rebecca Atkins, Counseling and Student Services.